Hello, my name is Mike, and this is Guns and Horsepower. Thank you for joining me for today's video, where I reload my favorite pistol caliber 45 ACP. And today, I have Sig Sauer's Sig V Crown jacketed Hallow Point bullets. Now these are made by Sierra, the same company that makes the Spear Gold Dot Hollow Points, which are pretty much unavailable to purchase for reloading. And these are relatively available just about everywhere I've looked, especially at Cabela's. These are new to me. I've never used these before, so let's go ahead and open them up and check them out. They have a picture there on the box of a slightly expanded bullet, but I don't know exactly what the bullets themselves look like. Alright, this is the first time I've checked out these bullets myself, so let's go ahead and take a closer look at them. Now they're definitely not as cool looking as the Spear Gold Dots. Here's a close look at the Sig V Crown. It's got that band around it for the case to grip. Like I said, it looks a lot like a Hornady XTP. And as you can see in the center there's a little hole. So it makes me think that behind that cup has got a little cavity to help it with expansion. Now that I've got the bullets, I've got my brass that's all prepped and ready to go. And by prepped I mean it's brass that I had shot, so spent brass. It's been deprimed, cleaned, chamfered and deburred, expanded, and reprimed. So now it's ready to go. You just got to dump in powder and then seat the bullet. And now for that powder and bullet seating, you need some good load data that you can trust. I like to have at least 2 separate references when it comes to load data, and make sure that they're relatively similar data and one's not drastically different than the other, because then at that point I don't know which one to trust. So if that happens, I'll try to find a third reference to try to figure out which one seems to be the more accurate load data. There's a lot of sources out there, a lot of books you can buy. It's good to have one of the hard books. I have here Hornady's Handbook of Cartridge Reloading, which came with my press kit that I bought years ago, and it's been a good reference over the years. It only lists Hornady bullets, but it does list a variety of manufacturers' powders and charge loads, so it is useful in those regards. Another reference I like to use is Ogden's website. They have a good source there for load data as well, but it's for powders that they produce. Luckily today I'm using Winchester's AutoComp, which is made by Ogden, so they had a lot of load data available for this as well. And in my Hornady book, it was the #1 on their list as well. And in the book, it listed an order of what they feel is the most accurate. So they'll list the powders as they tested them, basically. And AutoComp was at the top for a 200 grain 45 ACP bullet. So I'm going to use that today. So with the load data that I found in my Hornady book and on Ogden's website, they were relatively the same load charges. It gave me a range of 6.4 grains up to 7 grains. And at 7 grains, the speed is 930 feet per second. So typically when I load my handgun load, especially for target shooting, I'll load them towards the middle or bottom end of that range, just because I don't need them to be as fast and powerful for target shooting, and I'm trying to save powder. Since the intended use for these will be personal defense, I'm going to try to load them closer to the top than I normally would. Which on this, the top is 7. I definitely don't like to go 7, just in case, you know, my scale ends up not being that accurate. I don't want to go over and cause damage to the gun. So I always like to stay under the max load. So I've decided with these I'm going to go with 6.8 grains. I feel that that's going to give me enough velocity, right around 900 feet per second, to pack enough punch with these 200 grain jacketed Hallow Point V Crowns. Now that I got my powder and charge weight picked out, I need to choose my case overall length. Now with 45 ACP, the minimum is 1.200 inches and the max is 1.275 inches. So that's the range that 45 ACP ammo can be. So if you were to buy factory 45 ammo and were to take out a micrometer here and measure the bullets that come out of that box, they're going to be anywhere within that range. And you'll be surprised too to see how wide that range is within that one box of ammo. Now for me, I definitely don't want to load them to the max, and I don't want them in the minimum. So same thing kind of with load charges, looking for somewhere kind of in the middle. Now, I have done this and taken factory ammo and measured it with the micrometer and kind of gotten an average of where those bullets came out. And based on what fits in my 45s, I've come up with a measurement of 1.230 inches. So that 230 is the sweet spot for me. So now that we got our everything ready, basically, we have our brass all prepped and ready to go, our load charge figured out, what we're going to seat them to. I've already gone ahead and done some work with our seating die here and gotten it pretty much dialed in. I've gotten my powder measurer pretty much dialed in as well. And before I get started on this, I will double check with the scale to make sure it's stayed dialed in. Before we go any further, please consider subscribing to my channel. And for those of you that are unfamiliar with reloading, I've skipped over a lot of the basic steps in this process and gone just straight to the end. So for your information, if you want to learn more about reloading, I've uploaded some videos. Actually, they're some of my very first videos I've ever put on YouTube, and they go into detail on the entire reloading process. So I've left a link in the description to those videos, along with the link to Hogden's website for their reloading data as well. Let's go ahead and seat some bullets. Got my auto comp here. We're getting the same number. I like to see the same number at least 3 times in a row. That way I know I can trust it. Alright, looks good. Tip I got for you when you're reloading pistol ammo. It's not really an issue with rifle ammo, and the thing I'm talking about is overcharging them, putting a double charge in the shell. So with rifle ammo, it pretty much you fill up the entire case when you reload it with powder, but on a pistol ammo, as you can see, there's a lot of extra casing left. So it's very easy to double pull that handle on that powder measure and put twice the load in it. So what I like to do as a final safety check is just scan each row and make sure they all have the same level. Make sure I didn't take a break mentally and double pump. Well, you see what I see? Well, I did this on purpose, but I wanted to point out what it looks like. So you can see all these other ones around it are a lot lower, and this one has a double load. But see, there's still plenty of room to seat the bullet. So this is the biggest thing you want to be careful of when you're reloading pistol ammo, is double charging the case. This will cause damage to your gun and to yourself, and make sure you pay attention that you do not do this. But this is what it looks like, a double loaded shell. Very easy to do. So let's go ahead and get that out of there. Get this loaded up with a proper charge, and now we're ready to seat the bullets. If you want, you can check each and every one, but what I like to do is make sure this thing's set, and if it seems pretty solid, after checking maybe the first 10, I'll just let it rip from there and then just check every so often. So that one's alright. I'm going to probably do 3 more that I check, and then I'll let loose. That one's good. And I'm checking these next 2 if they're right on with the next one. And like I said, my goal is 1.230 inches, and obviously I'm not going to nail it right on. I'm getting 3 1 and 3 2. So let me dial that down. I'm going to check these, do these last 2 in this row here, and then I'll go ahead and just start nailing them out. So we're good there. Alright, now we'll just start knocking them out. go. The finished product. These things are high quality bullets. I can tell just by reloading them. They're very, very consistent, and like I said, the quality on them is fantastic. Normally I'd have to adjust my seating die with a lot of other bullets over and over again. With these, once I got it set, each one was dead on after that. What ammo shortage? I haven't bought ammo in over 6 years now. I simply just go shooting, I pick up my brass, and I pick up the other brass that people have left behind, and my collection continues to grow. And I'm spending about 60% less than retail. Let me go over the cost of reloading these bullets with you. Obviously, the largest expense is the bullets themselves. This 100 bullet pack costs $45, so that's the largest chunk of the expense. Now the brass is reused brass, so nothing spent there, and the next is the primers. Well, I bought primers a while ago and I stocked up, so I only spent about $4 for 100 primers. And the powder itself, I calculated out, runs about $4 is what the powder costs to do 100 bullets with the 6.8 grains. So that gives me a grand total of $53 that I spent for 100 rounds of Sig V Crown 45 ACP. Now if you were to buy those bullets separately, let's see, I looked it up, they retail for $32 for 20 rounds. So that's a significant savings. So I spent $53, and if you were to buy that, it's going to run you $160 retail. So I saved over $100. Now like I said, I bought the primers a while ago and powder always goes up. So to give you a perspective for today's market, the bullets obviously are the same, $45. I put primers at about $10 for a pack of 100, and the powder's gone up just a little bit since I've bought it last, so about $5. So you're looking at $60 if you were to reload this in today's market versus $160 retail. That's a tremendous savings. So if you're wondering if reloading pays off, yes it does. Especially when it comes to hollow point bullets, you save a significant amount of money doing it yourself. Now when it comes to target ammo, back when I first started reloading, you definitely saved a significant amount of money. But now today, with all the components going up in price, especially the primers doubling in price if not more, it's made target ammo a little less lucrative to reload. I recommend trying to find good quality brass, find it cheap, and buy a lot of that target ammo, shoot that stuff up, use that brass for reloading. If you've been thinking about reloading, don't wait any longer. Make the investment and start reloading now. You'll be glad that you did. You'll never be affected by the ammo shortage again. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I hope you found the information useful and informative. Please browse my channel for my other content, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks again for watching.